Chairman Avis, Director Sledesky, Boy State and Girl State Governors past and present. We're all very honored to be joined today, as we have been on so many other occasions, by our governor, my friend Deval Patrick. In introducing the governor, I'm going to quote a brief excerpt from a speech I heard him give in Springfield 3 weeks ago. I've been collecting political speeches for about 50 years, and I'm not so proud I don't hear a good one and ask for a copy. So Deval, I did. In that speech, you spoke of your own life, and you spoke of the American dream. And I quote, "It's the dream of pilgrims who built a life of religious freedom in an unknown wilderness. It's the dream of immigrants who fled oppression in other lands for the hope of a better life and still do. It's the dream of your moms and dads from Dorchester and Holyoke and the Merrimack Valley who scraped and saved so you could get an education and not have to struggle as much as they did. It's the story of a kid from the south side of Chicago who earned the chance to serve as your governor. Ladies and gentlemen, the Governor of the Commonwealth."
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Director DeCara. To you, to Director Sledesky, to Chairman Avis, to my fellow governors, past and present, to all of you who are participating in Boy State and Girl State, thank you so much for having me this morning. It's wonderful to be with you. I want to apologize to all the hands I missed on the way down the aisle. I haven't quite yet figured out the whole business of shaking hands and walking at the same time. But I appreciate very much the warm welcome from everyone, and I am looking forward, I am told, to some conversation this morning. So those of you who've participated in Boys and Girls State before, how many of you are back for a second run or a third run? Yeah, a few of you. Know that I have had an opportunity to come, I think every year for the last 6 since I've been governor, and usually it's in the evening, and usually it's a chance when I have a minute to address everyone, and then I wave and I'm gone. Today, I think we get a chance for some conversation. So I get to hear from you. So I'm going to keep my remarks to a minimum, but maybe just set the stage this way, building off of the comments that Larry read in his introduction. That whole notion of the American dream, the ability to imagine a different way, a different place for yourself and your family, and then to reach for it, is a uniquely American thing. Ours is the only country in human history not organized the way countries usually are organized. We're not organized around a common religion or a common language or even a common culture. We're organized around a handful of civic ideals. And we've defined those ideals over time and through struggle as equality, opportunity, and fair play. These are the ideals for which we are the envy of the world. In the minds of a lot of people today around our country, around our Commonwealth, the American dream is up for grabs. That notion that you can reach for something different, better, make a better way for yourselves and your kids. A lot of folks are worried about that right now. And I want to just urge upon all of you as you think about public policy to understand that saving the American dream, reviving the American dream, is not up to government alone. It's not up to the private sector and the business community alone. It's not up to schools alone. It's up to you. It's up to citizens. It's up to you to understand that what we offer as a legacy in this country is a commitment to equality, opportunity, and fair play. Without those ideals, the freedom that we celebrate on holidays and cherish in between means nothing. It's impossible without a sense of equality, without real opportunity, and without fairness in the way we deliver on those ideals. Internalize that. Commit to that. Think about what that means in your own life and times, and the American dream will mean something for a generation to come. I'm honored to be with you. I look forward to your comments and your questions.
We have a microphone set up in the center aisle. We would ask people to line up and to ask questions briefly, and we'll try to hear them as best as we can. And I know the governor will respond as much as he can. How about we start with the gentleman in the front. We'll do front microphone, back microphone, okay? And please state your name and where you live in the Commonwealth, okay? Yeah.
My name is Deval.
You're a popular guy. What's your name?
My name is Deval. I'm from Ludlow, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Governor Patrick, what are your plans for developing alternative energy in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts going into the 21st century?
Great question. Everybody get the question? The question is, what are our plans for developing alternative energy here in the Commonwealth going into the 21st century? So first of all, I think this is a critically important agenda item, not just here in the Commonwealth, but in America. It has everything to do with stewardship of the environment, with our energy independence from places that are sometimes hostile to the United States. And so we have invested through time, resources, and creativity in creating a market here for solar, for wind, for energy efficiency. I'm proud to say that we beat out California last year for the first time, any state in America, as the #1 state for energy efficiency because of those programs. We've had a 40-fold increase in solar generation in the Commonwealth in the last few years, a 25-fold increase in wind generation in the last 5 years. None of that is by accident. And we're moving on things like biodiesel and other kinds of alternative fuels as well. Energy efficiency, I will just say, it has to be thought of here as our first fuel, meaning the gallon of oil we don't use, the cubic foot of natural gas we don't use, is our first fuel. So one thing all of you can do as well, is encourage your moms and dads to have an energy audit. It's free from your electric or gas utility, to come in and review your home for its energy efficiency and make changes, some of which are free or subsidized, in order to contain your own energy use at home. It's incredibly important. And thank you for the question.
Girl skater in yellow at the back are going to try to alternate male and female.
Hi, my name is Jess. I come from Westfield, Mass. And my question is, how do you suggest we deal with student loans?
So Jeff, where, did you say Western Mass?
Yeah, Westfield, Mass.
Westfield, all right. And the question, Jess, is about student loans? And exactly what is the question?
Like the job opportunities coming out of college and the debt we have to pay back. Like the job opportunities that are upcoming.
Yes.
Like, how is the rate in the Massachusetts?
How is the rating of Massachusetts?
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty well. We're growing jobs faster than most states right now. Our unemployment rate at 6% is well below the national unemployment rate and going down. There are something like 240,000 people in Massachusetts looking for work right now, Jess, and 130,000 open positions. Open positions. Imagine that many people looking for work and that many positions open. And what a lot of employers are telling us is that they aren't seeing the skills they need for the jobs they have. Many of those jobs are so-called middle skills jobs. They require more than a high school degree, but not necessarily as much as a college degree. It may be a community college degree or a certificate in a particular skill. And they are in our innovation sectors, to the point earlier in the earlier question around clean energy, also the life sciences and biotech, IT, financial services, precision manufacturing. All of these are looking for folks right now. And many of those jobs start in the $60,000 to $80,000 range. So it's nothing to sniff at. I thought I heard you ask about student loans at the outset.
The amount we have to pay back compared to the amount we're going to get paid starting. How can the government help?
Well, we can help by trying to keep your interest rates down. And there are programs available through Mass State government to help with that. I'll tell you another thing you can do, because it's at risk at the federal level, which is where most student loans are funded. There's a bill before the Congress to keep student loans at the current low rate that, if not passed, will mean that student loan rates double on July 1st. It's held up in the Senate right now. You should be in touch with, actually it's held up in the Congress. You should be in touch with your congressman or woman and both of our senators and express your support for that. It's called the Stafford Loan Program, and it's really important.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So from the first mic, hello? Hi.
Hi, Governor Patrick. My name is Bijan Ameli. I'm from Holliston, Mass.
Say your first name again.
Bijan?
Bijan.
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of going off the other question, recently the UMass trustees approved a 4.9% increase in tuition. And I was wondering if you're as afraid as I am that there will come a day when public universities and colleges will no longer be affordable for the middle class of America.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. I think the actual increase you're talking about was in fees, not tuition. But same thing, you know, your dollar doesn't say, oh, you know, it's for fees, so I feel okay. Yeah, I expressed my concern about that to the trustees, and also to the and also public. I mean, I understand it. I understand what their what the pressures are in all of our public universities and community colleges. But at the same time, I'm not convinced that they have, in every case, done everything they need to do to squeeze cost out, so that more of the resources they are getting from the state and from other sources are spent on teaching and learning as opposed to other things. And it's not that those other things don't have value, but the number one value in my mind is the teaching and learning and how that gets paid for. So yes, it's of concern to me. There's a view out there, Bijan, that I don't know if you've heard this before. This is the so-called high tuition, high aid strategy. So some people say you should charge what the market will bear, but then keep up in terms of scholarship aid. And the reason for that is that people choose our public colleges and universities not for financial reasons entirely, but because they're really great. They're really strong academically. And so if people are making the choice on that basis, why not charge to those who can pay what the market will bear, and then for those who can't, make sure that scholarship aid keeps up. That's the theory. And by the way, it's a theory that is a strategy used very much at in private colleges and universities as well. I'm a little skeptical of that theory, Bijan, because historically, scholarship aid has not kept up. So if the notion is, you know, you're going to raise tuition and somebody who's fortunate can pay it, if the scholarship money doesn't keep up, in fact, you are squeezing out the very population that you're talking about. So until I am confident that we can keep up in scholarship aid, I'm not quite sure I'm prepared to support that strategy. But you should know that that's an active debate among trustees on boards of our public universities right now. Thank you.
The lady in a yellow shirt at the second microphone. Lady with the yellow shirt, second microphone, please ask your question. You can alternate male, female.
Maria Kiki, Methuen, Massachusetts. My question for you is, how do you suggest that the youth of America get involved with their local governments and statewide government?
Great question. Great question. Maria, I can't see you. Wait. There you go. That's more like it. Okay. So a couple things. How old are you?
I'm 17.
And loud. Yes. So first of all, register when the time comes. Register to vote. Absolutely critical. We have one of the lowest levels of voter participation in the whole world among industrialized countries here in America, and it's a darn shame when you consider that people have died for that opportunity. So the first thing I would say to everybody here is register to vote. You can be active in town or city government. Towns a little more directly through town meeting, but all governments have public hearings on issues of concern. They range from, property tax increases to whether or not to renovate the local playground. And you should show up. Get involved. They're usually held in the evenings or on weekends, and if that works for you, you should go. And listen if you don't necessarily want to give testimony or express yourself, just listen. Hear how the decisions are made. When the time comes, and the rules vary, I think, from town to town. Larry, you might know this better than I do, in terms of what the age is for being able to run for office. Is it 18? So, run for town meeting, run for a city council. There's a new mayor of Holyoke, which is a significant city in western Massachusetts, who just graduated from college. I think he's 22 years old, and a Boys State grad. Really terrific. So do that. Run for the legislature. We have a legislature whose membership actually has changed significantly in the last few years after not having changed for a long time. These are competitive races. You got to get in and try and run for governor. Not yet. Let me finish first. But run, put yourself out there. There's a lot of wear and tear in any campaign, but I always say we get the government we deserve, right? So if you don't participate, if you don't show up, if you don't encourage other candidates, if you don't work on a campaign, which you can do right now, and should, especially a campaign that's working at the grassroots, then it seems to me, how do you sit on the sidelines and complain about the outcome? If you want good people, go get them. Go be them.
All in the front with the red short, and the microphone's the rear.
Hi.
Good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
My name is Van Forsman. I'm from Southern Berkshire, Western Mass.
Excellent. What town?
South Egremont. It's
South
very,
Egremont.
very boundary.
I go to Richmond, so I know the neighborhood.
My question for you today is, with politics today, I feel one of the largest issues is the dissemination of false information. I feel that a lot of the day I can't, that people can't search through it and find facts.
Yeah.
I feel that, on Fox News there's the fact checkers. There isn't a standard today.
You're right.
And my question for you is, how should we best combat facts today? The difficulty with
Finding the truth.
Yeah, finding the truth, but fighting the spreading of misinformation.
Dan, it's an incredibly important question, and one I am still searching for an answer to myself. It's extraordinary to listen to a strategy. You hear it politically, you hear it in all kinds of advocacy, where people will say something false, knowing it's false, and repeat it enough so that people begin to believe it's true. And I've experienced it. I've been on the sharp end of that stick. There is a candidate for president right now who is talking about extraordinary record in job creation as a former governor, and there's no there there. It's just not true. It doesn't mean he's a bad man, but that's not true. And, you know, I think there is something to be said for getting your news from multiple sources. So if you mentioned you watch Fox, you should watch.
I don't watch Fox.
That's all right. People do. People do. But you know, you mentioned one looks at. You know, when I was growing up in the dark ages, and when Larry was growing up, even before then, there were 3 networks, right? 3 TV news sources, national news sources, and they reported pretty much the same stuff, I would say. I would also say there was a different level of rigor in the reporting, the stuff that now is a lot of reporting of rumor itself, and there is a lot of interviewing of reporters. So they're just talking to each other instead of talking to people who actually saw it, experienced it, heard it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, got it.
So I would pay attention to those sources where they're actually getting the view from somebody who's on the ground and experienced it, rather than somebody who's interpreting it for you. And I'm not going to say who I think that does that better than others, but you can do that. There's a tremendous amount of information on the web, and also a tremendous opportunity to spread falsehoods, right? Because it's completely unfiltered. But I sense that if you read more than one source, you listen to more than one source, and you listen to sources that don't always have your point of view, that you can begin to distill from that kernels of truth. But it is a real frustrating thing, really frustrating. Thank you.